Okay, guys, so this is the first ever set of video notes that I've done. The reason we're doing it this way is because we still have a few more people that need to take their quiz from Friday. So I'm trying to give them some quiet time in order to do that and also get you your notes. We will be reviewing this tomorrow, so if you don't understand something that's in here, okay, save your questions until tomorrow because we will go over this. It's pretty easy stuff, though. I don't think you'll have a whole lot of problems with it. So just let me know if you do. Ask questions. Feel free to raise your hand and I'll come over to you. Just let me know. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and get started. Today we are going to talk about velocity. Okay, so velocity is kind of the same thing as speed, except it has one major difference. Okay, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. What I want you to do right now, though, is think about this for a second. Okay, if you have me, Miss Lewis, and Miss Cobb, and we're all going to get in our cars and we're all going to drive 100 miles at 45 miles per hour, do you think that we are all going to end up in the same place? Think about that for a second. If you answered no, why not? Why don't you think we're all going to end up in the same place? Maybe because we're all going in different directions. We don't know where we're starting from, right? Miss Cobb could be starting from school, Miss Lewis could be starting from her house, and I could be starting from my house. It's all in different locations, so you don't know if we're all going to go the same place. You don't know if Miss Lewis is going to go from her house and go south. I might go north, and Miss Cobb might go west. Okay, so if you don't know which direction we're going in, it's impossible for us to all end up in the same place. Now, if we all started from school and we all drove 45 miles per hour west, then yes, we would all end up in the same place because we're all going the same direction at the same speed. Okay? When you think about that, that is velocity. Okay? Velocity is speed with a specific direction. Velocity is speed with a specific direction. So, for example, speed might be 5 meters per second. That's speed. It's telling you how fast something goes. Velocity is a little different. Velocity gives you speed, so how fast something is going in a given amount of time, and the direction that it's going in. So speed might be 5 meters per second. Velocity is 5 meters per second north. So anytime you see anything with a speed and a direction, it's talking about velocity. Velocity, again, is speed with a specific direction. If all you have is speed, that's it. It's just speed. But if you have a specific direction associated with it, then it's velocity. Okay? Alrighty, a vector. A vector is a quantity that has both size and direction. So velocity could be said to be a vector because it's a quantity that has a size, the speed, right? Because the size would be the number, the size of the speed, okay, how big it is, all right, and the direction that's associated with it. So velocity would be an example of a vector. Acceleration would be an example of a vector. We might talk about acceleration if we get time. I might discuss it tomorrow with you, but you need to know that acceleration is an example of a vector, okay, and so is velocity. So while you're thinking about this, I'm sorry, that was my dog. So while you're thinking about this, is speed a vector then? Think about that for a second. Is speed a vector? If you answered yes, okay, you are wrong. The correct answer is no. Speed is not a vector because it doesn't have what? If you said direction, you are exactly right. Speed does not have a direction associated with it. Okay, so always remember that. Velocity is speed with a specific direction. Speed is just speed, okay? It's just the size. And a vector is a quantity that has both size and direction. Alrighty? Now, it is really important that you guys know how to compare and contrast velocity and speed. So, since velocity includes speed, okay, that's one thing that they have in common, right? Speed is speed, and then velocity includes speed. So they both have something to do with speed. That's one thing they have in common, is they both include speed. And if they both include speed, speed is made up of what? If you said distance and time, you're exactly right. So since speed is also made up of distance and time, velocity and speed both have distance and time in common. So they both include distance and time. Okay? However, it is different, okay, in the fact that velocity includes direction and speed does not include direction. Okay, which brings us to this point. So since velocity includes speed and direction, it is possible for two speeds to have the exact same speed, okay, but different velocities. Okay, so since velocity includes speed, it is possible for two objects to have the same speed but different velocities, right? So for example, the car at the bottom, okay, their speed is the exact same. It's 30 kilometers per hour. See, their speed is the exact same, 30 kilometers per hour. But what makes their velocities different is the direction. One car has a north velocity and one car has a south velocity. Okay? So that is what makes them different, is the fact they both have the same speed, but they have different velocities. Okay? So there you go with that. Alrighty, now, let's go ahead and let's talk about another thing. You are going to have to know how to fill in a Venn diagram. If you don't, then you are not going to do very well on your test. Okay, because you are going to have to know how to compare and contrast speed and velocity and fill in a Venn diagram. Your homework tonight is to fill in a Venn diagram comparing and contrasting speed and velocity. I figured I could go ahead and help you out a little bit with it, and we could review it just real quick, okay, because that is one thing that you need to get out of this slideshow. Number one is that velocity is speed with a given direction, okay, and that velocity is a vector. And number two, that you need to know how to compare and contrast speed and velocity, because they are not the same thing, but they do have some things that are similar between them. All right, so let's start with speed. What are some things that we can say about speed? Okay, number one, we know it's not a vector, right? Because it doesn't have a direction. Okay, remember, a vector is a quantity with size and direction. Speed does not have direction, so that means it is not a vector. But what about velocity? Velocity is a vector. Okay, so that's one thing that is completely different between the both of them. Speed is not a vector, while velocity is a vector. Okay, second thing, speed. Okay, does speed include a direction? No, speed does not include a direction at all. Completely different. Okay? Velocity, however, is speed with a given direction. So velocity, okay, it does include direction. Alrighty, so speed does not include a direction. Velocity includes a direction. Alrighty, and then what about some things that are similar? Okay, both include speed. Remember, speed is exactly what it is. It's speed. It's how fast something is going. And then velocity is how fast something is going with a given direction. So they both include speed. And if they both include speed, speed is made up of distance and time, which means they both include distance and time as well. So both of them include distance and time. Both of them include speed. Okay? That should help you out and should help get you started. Okay, so let's review your homework right quick. Alright, so this is the last set of notes before your test. You will get your study guide tomorrow for your test. Your test is going to be on Monday, okay, the 14th. Your test is going to be on Monday the 14th. It is going to be over motion, distance versus time graphs, speed, and velocity. Those four things. We've already taken a quiz over the first three, so that should help you out with studying a little bit. You probably don't have to study as much now because we just had a quiz over those last few. Your test will be on Monday, but it should help you out that you've had a quiz beforehand so you know what to expect. Remember, your quiz was similar in the format to the test, so hopefully it should help you out. All right. Your homework tonight is to construct a Venn diagram comparing and contrasting speed and velocity. Okay, you have to construct a Venn diagram comparing and contrasting speed and velocity. We will go over that tomorrow. Okay, so remember, if you don't understand something from this video, it is okay, but you have got to let me know tomorrow so that way we can go over it. Either that or you need to ask a question. If you don't understand something, you've got to ask a question. Otherwise, I'm going to assume that everybody knows what they're doing and we're all well and good. Okay, so ask questions if you don't understand, and we will review this tomorrow and make sure that everybody is on the same page. Remember, your homework tonight is to construct a Venn diagram comparing and contrasting speed and velocity. I will give you your study guide tomorrow when I check your homework from today. And alrighty, I am out, guys. And remember to ask questions if you're confused. Adios.